Okay, next on the list, we're going to be talking about Oshi Season 2, Episode 3. So, back in last week's episode, or I guess a couple of days ago, Episode 1 of Anime Cavalcade, Summer 2024, I thought that potentially the story with her being the manga author and dealing with the scriptwriter, I thought we were going to have more conflict, and that was going to be like the main conflict of the show. But I don't think that is the case, as episode 3 kind of sort of resolved everything pretty much. Where I'll talk about, like, the beginning part was like kind of sort of whatever. It kind of follows up to actually that's not true. Because one of my concerns that I had when it came to episode 2 and when it came to episode 3 was that I really did not want Ruby to be forgotten this season, or like this whatever part of the story and how long this takes, and I did not want her to be like I at least wanted like either an explanation of why she can't be around, or like at least have her around, or do like a back and forth story, because it is possible. You can do that. You got like 30 minutes. It is possible to do these things, and we do, because the first episode of episode 3 basically establishes, we see Ruby talking to her friends in class, being like, oh yeah, I'm glad I'm actually being able to do stuff, and then I'm coming up in the industry, because it's like, now I have something to talk about with you guys. And she realized she still doesn't have a lot to talk about, and when she goes to the manager for Strawberry Productions, who is also a helper to as if you've watched the first season, you would know, they basically give the reason that, no, Ruby, we can't really do anything because one of our members is filming a movie. And because they're filming a movie, they can't really, not filming a movie, they're doing the play and they're doing rehearsals. And because we can't do that, and we can't and because they're having that part, we can't really like book, because then we're going to be double booking. Which, I assume that would have been a reason. I'm just glad that it is explained. So the whole Ruby thing is set aside for me, and I'm glad that they at least addressed it. I would have liked that for maybe episode 2 was definitely more dedicated to the explanation of manga author to scriptwriter, like, pipe channels. So episode 3 was probably the best place that they could put that, if they wanted episode 2, especially to follow up with the angle they had in episode 1. But episode 3 does touch on that in the very beginning, and that's when we see Kana come in. And we get like a little bit more of the Arima Kana beef. After this episode, though, I assume we'll focus more on it. It's just these next 3 episodes is just more setting up the. I think these last 3 episodes were, in a big part, basically just to set up and give what is her name, Abiko, just like a better foothold in all of this, and understanding where her place is, and like what role she's gonna play within the show. The actual show, not the fucking play they have. Which I'm gonna have such a big rant about this play later. I'll promise you. I'm gonna have such a big ass fucking rant about this play, because this play, the concept of this, I wouldn't say it makes no sense to me, right? I would not say that makes no sense to me, but it is one of those things where I'm just like, what the fuck? Why is this? But we'll get into that. Let me address the story, and then we'll get into that. I'll address the story, and then we'll get into that. But basically, after they go to their play, because it leaves out, we see Aqua go to the play, and Aqua is changed by the play. He said he didn't like really understand plays and didn't care for plays. After leaving it, he likes it, right? Meets up with the stage crew. Meets up with the director and being like, oh yeah, I directed that play, and I kind of wish the author would understand. I wish Apika would understand, but obviously it's just like a struggle. And so Aima and Aqua kind of have, Aqua I think comes up with it more, but Aima and Aqua come up with the idea of, well, they're not going to listen, Abiko is not going to listen to the screenwriter, she's not going to listen to us, she's not going to listen to the director, she's going to have to basically listen to somebody who has been at her level, or not at her level, but is going to be someone that she at least respects, which in this case is going to be Yokiro, who is the author for Sweets Day. I forgot her name last week, but I remember her name now. And so they eventually set up the whole thing and the whole conversation where like they go over, they have some food, they have a conversation, they talk and whatnot, and they basically explain, they're like, hey Yoriko, like I know it's kind of a big ask to do, but we want to basically try to talk to Abiko, or if you can talk to Abiko on our behalf, on basically just letting the screenwriter just stay on. And Yoriko is kind of hesitant at first, and even goes on to say like, listen, I wish I can help. I wish I could. I wish I had like the I wouldn't say the ability, but she says, oh, I wish I can like understand more where you guys are coming from in a sense when it comes to like trying to do this and trying to help. But you also got to understand that when it comes to a manga artist, this is their baby. And Abiko not only cares about their baby, but her view on what art is like kind of super cynical. Like we see like a clip of Yoriko and Abiko talking, and Abiko kind of giving Yoriko shit of just like, listen, you're like 90% of like creativity that's out there is fucking shit, and your creativity is really good. So I don't know why you're going off and you're just making all of this and like you're allowing people to just tarnish your art. You need more of a backbone, because if you did, then you know, what was her art? Oh, Sweet Today wouldn't have been as bad as it would not have been as bad as you allowed them to make it. And that's definitely kind of like a, ooh, Abiko, why? Like, why? Why would you? Damn, that hurt. That hurt a lot. It hurt. It hurt the gut. It hit the gut and hurt the spirit. Like a lot. Like a lot. But I know that I forgot the exact conversation, but eventually, Yoriko does eventually go to Abiko, and we just see that she is just her room is a mess. She's obviously stressed because she has so much stuff. Yoriko also explains as well that Abiko is working on the manga, and it's a weekly manga. She's trying to write this. She wants to write the script for a play. She's trying to work. They have like a anime adaptation coming out for the show, and like they are juggling so much. You cannot blame her for sitting there and being like, oh, you know, you need to do my shit, because like she's under stress and she's under like a lot of pressure and a lot of, you know, there's a lot at stake, because you know you're trying to do all of this stuff. You want it to be good. You want it to be great. So like Yoriko's trying to be like, hey, just understand where Abiko's coming from. But Yoriko does go talk to Abiko, sees the room is a mess, and I love this scene so much. I love this scene so much because it's what this is basically a dueling of ideals, where you have Abiko on one side basically going off and being like, hey, I get it. Not get it. And it's like, hey, listen, I'm not going to allow my shit to be trash like you are. This is the way that I communicate with people. I can't communicate normally like you can. This is my form of communication and my form of connecting with people. And I'd be damned if I'm going to have somebody who doesn't understand what I'm trying to portray in my art mess up the only communication with people that I have. And Yoriko's sitting there being like, I understand that, and I've worked with you alongside that. You have seen you grown. I get that that's the reason why you're doing this, but you do realize that part of the communication you're looking for as well comes in this collaboration. You want this. You want the live action. You want the play adaptation. You want the anime adaptation. You want all of this, and you want all of it to be good. I get that. I understand. But there's got to be a give and a pull. And if you pull too much, people are gonna just start pushing away, and then you'll never get anything. You'll never get anything that you're ever gonna get ever again, right? It's like everything that you will work for will basically like crumble. And I already see, and she even mentions it. It's like I already see it crumbling in your work, where you made this story and you had this elaborate way, and you like created it in a way for these people, but now all I'm seeing is just trash. She just straight up says that. It's just like, all I'm seeing is just not good art from you. Like, everything that you're putting out is just not good now. And obviously, Abiko's frustrated, and it's just like, what the fuck with you now? You don't know shit. And, like, it's a really intense back and forth, but I do like it because eventually, Abiko just comes to the conclusion of, it's not even that. I just want to make connections. I just want to be happy. I want to be able to talk like you can. It's like I am. It's like yeah, I am under stress, and like you wouldn't necessarily understand because you have a monthly manga. I have a weekly manga. I'm under so much goddamn stress. I can't deal with it, and because people suck. But I don't want to think people suck. I want genuine connection, and I'm struggling to figure out how to do that. And eventually, it just comes into a whole little dueling battle thing where they basically work their ass off through all the night, and it's Abiko and Yuriko and Yuriko laying on the floor, and she basically just accepts like, I know I need to learn, but I don't know how to. It's kind of scary, and I'm kind of stressed, but I would like to know how to try to connect with people. And it's like, so if you can teach me, and if you could show me that way, I would very much appreciate it. I would very much appreciate it a lot. And Yuriko basically goes off, and she's just like, oh, well, if you want that, then Aqua saw this play, changed his mind. Look at that play. He recommends to go see that play, and you might get a better idea of like what you're trying to get through and like what you're trying to do. And so the episode ends with Abiko going to see that play. I really like this episode for that, in which like I wish they lasted a bit more because I would have liked to see her like working with the cast and crew and her being actually hella mean and like seeing that lack of connection. I think that's the only thing this episode missed out on, is at least having that aspect. Because we see it with like directors and the crew, but I would have liked to see it a bit more and see like the active pushing away of stuff and like the not connecting very well with people. Because I don't think we really get that super well. I don't think we get that super well here. And we only really see it. We only really see it when Yuriko talks about flashbacks of Abiko, where it's like, oh yeah, Abiko was distant, she kept to herself, she didn't really want to work with anybody. But I would have really liked to see like that contrast of like, the stress of everything she's going through. Now on top of working on the screenplay, just making her snap and making her more angry and making her just not understanding, being like, you don't fucking understand what I'm going through, just do what I tell you. Stop trying to fight my art. And I think that would have been nice to see. Maybe even have a little moment of like distress from anybody and like a few of the actors, and seeing her genuinely get pushed away, and even see like, well, no, I'm not trying to be an asshole, I'm just trying to protect my art, and like no one really understanding. I think I would have liked like one more episode of that, but I do think this episode is good. I do think what this episode does, it does really, really well. I think I would have liked that addition. Oh, before I go and talk about the next anime, I gotta rant about this, right? So the big thing, right, that my question is, and I think I brought this up before, is I have no clue what the hell a 2.5D play was. And given how the stage was set up, I thought it was going to be kind of like a mixture of being on screen and like maybe a bit of the artwork's done. Like you get a bit of the artwork that's like on the screen that helps from the manga or whatever like source material you have, and then you have people like acting out the play, right? That's what I thought it was going to be. But from my knowledge, and I looked up some videos, I looked online, I looked at some articles, 2.5D plays seems like they only refer to properties that are like properties and IPs where the play is taking the source material from a 2D medium and turning it into a play and meeting in the middle. Now, that frustrates me because it kind of makes the assumption of like something's in the middle. Like I feel like the assumption from that is that like plays are kind of in the middle between like the 2D medium of like manga and anime and drawings and like the 3D medium of like movie and television and all that stuff. My problem is that plays are technically also in like 3D because of the way that we perceive it. Like I get it, it's still like there's still like it's a 3D space, but we only see like the play, and that's what I thought. But it only really refers to like that. It was so it makes me genuinely like upset with the way they explained it, because the way they explain it, it's like, oh, it's 2.5D because it's pulling from 2D material, and it's like, okay, but like the plays are technically 3D. Like, they're not really 2.5D because we're perceiving it in 3D. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being an asshole, but the concept of 2.5D plays frustrate the hell out of me. And now whenever we're gonna look at that, and like whenever I looked at the finished product of this season and how that play goes, that's just gonna frustrate me. That's just gonna make me angry. And I know for a fact it's gonna make me angry because I sat there, rewinded the goddamn episode, being like, what the hell is this? Thinking that the play was like, because they explained like the theater and how the theater spins and like it rotates so people can get like adjusted to the show. So I thought that was the incorporation of 2.5D plays. But apparently the stadium isn't even like a factor in that. That's just a really fancy stadium for no reason. So like what? This makes me mad. This makes me mad. This makes me irrationally mad. And it is partly of just I don't understand and I want to understand and it's just frustrating to me. It's genuinely frustrating to me. I just want to understand. I just want to understand. This is a call to action. You know what? This is a call to action. If anyone can properly tell me like what a 2.5D play is, or if I'm wrong, like in the comments, or if you're on live stream right now and you're doing this, if someone can explain to me what in God's name in heaven is a 2.5D play, please, I would love any form of explanation or any type like that, because this fucked me. This fucked me, and it fucked me so goddamn hard. It made me so frustrated. But overall, other than the frustrating aspect of all that, you know, I originally was gonna give it a 10 out of 10, but I think I would have liked the Obiko stuff to have been explored a bit more, and I think that's what I didn't like about this. So I'm gonna give Oshinoko episode 3 a 9 out of 10 because I think that makes sense.